Welcome to Nursing 310 Nursing Research. Many students, especially at the baccalaureate level, enter a nursing research class with apprehension. This course should be fun. There is no reason for this course to cause you undue stress. It is all about how we know what practice is appropriate in nursing. You will be able to do this. Relax and enjoy the course. The first step is to review your grading rubrics. I will grade to the letter from these rubrics. They are a communication tool showing you exactly what is expected of your work. Some key points of the discussions rubric include that the initial answer to the discussion question is due by Saturday, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. That post must be at least 150 words and substantive in nature. You will post on 3 separate days. The first post is your initial answer to the question. The second post is in response to another student's post and must occur on a second day. The third post is a response to a second student's post and must occur on a third day. If there is one discussion topic, you will have a minimum of 3 posts. For each topic, you must respond 3 times over 3 separate days. So if there are 2 discussion topics, you will have a minimal total of 6 posts over 3 separate days. Be sure to answer all the components of the question and cite your sources. Your posts should be in full sentences with appropriate grammar and spelling. They should be substantive, which means they are about the topic, promote discussion among the other students, and have at least 100 words. An exception to this is that first discussion topic that has to do with introducing yourself. You do not need to cite any kind of sources in your introduction. There are 4 assignments. The first 3 for units 4, 6, and 8 are critiques of separate components of 2 separate articles. These article citations are listed here. For those 3 units, you will write about the components of the research process as assigned in the assignment and illustrated in these 2 articles. These citations are also available to you under the assignment tabs for units 4, 6, and 8. The final assignment is a critique of the article cited here. Essentially, you will do what you've been doing for assignments 4, 6, and 8 and all of the discussion topics, but you'll do it with a separate article, this one here. I suggest that you read all 3 articles at the same time, apply what you're doing for the first 2 articles to this third article as you go along, so that when you get to Unit 9, all you have to do is take the components that you have gathered and turn it into the final paper. What makes research seem hard is the vocabulary. It is like learning a new language that sounds somewhat like the one you already know, but with an entirely different meaning for the words. Because of this, place a large focus on the vocabulary for each unit. I suggest that you first read, not respond to, the discussion questions. Then learn the vocabulary located under glossary for each unit. Then read the summary points of the assigned readings. If you need more depth of understanding, read the assigned chapters. Then answer the discussion questions. In this way, you will quickly see what you need to know, what you don't know, and be able to focus your precious study time on only what you need to know. In response, I will respond to your post on the discussion board. I may ask for clarification or post questions that will help you get more depth of understanding. Please be sure to respond to my responses. If at any time you need help, ask me. I have posted the slides for this presentation under doc sharing. My email address and cell phone number is in that presentation on the slide that looks like the one in front of you. I am here to help. Call, text, write me if you need any assistance. I'm your teacher. I'm here to help. I exist. One of the things I find most frustrating about online teaching is students will struggle and get frustrated. They'll call their academic counselors and other students and never ask me for assistance. I'm here and you have ways to get a hold of me, and I'm encouraging you to talk to me. Remember doing science fair in school? That was your introduction to research. Research is a systematic approach to answering an unknown question. It follows a protocol. Each research design is a protocol for how to approach finding the answer to the question. A paradigm is merely the common view held by the group. We in the United States live in a paradigm where people work for a living, and if they do that, there are rewards. If they don't, there is derision and consequences. A paradigm shift might be where people do not work, but still are provided the rewards because it's an accepted belief that people shouldn't work. Therefore, a paradigm merely means a common view. It's a fancy word for it. Quantitative research is research done where the components of the question are precisely measured. It involves statistical analysis of the data collected from that measurement. If the question is, does study time improve grades, then study time is measured and grades are measured. Statistical analysis looks at, did students who studied longer have higher grades? It is predictive in nature. We study groups of people so that we can predict how similar groups will perform. Qualitative research looks at what people think and how they live. It doesn't measure anything. It looks at narratives about what people say about something or how they act in a situation. It's interpretive, not predictive. It in no way assumes that a similar group will perceive the situation the same or as the current one. It merely tells us how this group perceived it or lived it. People who hold the philosophy of logical positivism believe that we can know something by measuring it. We use our senses, sight, touch, hearing, smell, and taste to better understand the world. Assessment is done through the gathering of objective data rather than subjective data. When we study something using this philosophy, the researcher measures the participants' responses through objective assessment techniques, although that may mean a rather subjective survey of participant beliefs or attitudes. For example, you always hear that pain is subjective, but when you measure pain on a scale from 0 to 10 and you have people plot on that scale where their pain level is, you are taking an objective assessment tool to measure a subjective piece of data, and that very much fits with logical positivism. We look at things more objectively than subjectively. When we gather data through our senses to know something about the world, it is said we have empirical data. Empirical means that we found it, collected it, can validate it. I can measure study time in hours, collected on several students, and validate that it's accurate because I use the same watch or clock to measure the time each student spent studying. With the philosophy of constructivism, the belief is that although we can collect data through our senses and measure it, we won't know it, because to know it requires us to interpret what we discovered. In other words, we construct reality. Reality is not only what is real, but how it is perceived by society. Remember the old adage, if a tree falls in the forest and there's no one there, does it still make a sound? That's a good illustration of constructivism. The data collected is subjective in nature. It is interpreted, not empirically validated. This means instead of measuring something like study time, the researcher might ask the participant about his or her perception of studying and its impact on grades. The sharing of research results is called research utilization. This is a primary role of the BSN. This course aims to teach you how to appraise research findings to know which ones should be shared in practice. Also, if you work for a magnet hospital, it is likely you will be asked to develop and implement research studies with the assistance of nurse researchers. These are two roles that are commonly assigned to the baccalaureate prepared nurse. When research findings are used in practice, that is called evidence-based practice. There are different levels of the strength of the research, from expert opinion being the lowest level to double-blinded randomized controlled studies being the highest level. We will discuss this more in depth later. When a researcher takes the statistical findings of several quantitative studies and reanalyzes them statistically, that is called a meta-analysis. It is one form of a research design. It is a quantitative study. When a researcher takes the findings from multiple qualitative studies and combines them, this is called a meta-synthesis. It is a qualitative study. To summarize, there are two primary paradigms we will use in this course: logical positivism and constructivism. Logical positivism is the objective assessment of things of interest that provides empirical evidence that is statistically analyzed using one of several quantitative research designs. After multiple studies have been performed on the same question, a meta-analysis can be done. Constructivism leads to subjective assessment of things of interest, which is interpreted by the researcher without the use of statistics, using one of the many qualitative research designs. Once multiple qualitative studies have been performed on the same topic, a meta-synthesis is possible. I hope this clarifies the course and the first unit of instruction. If you have any questions, please let me know. You can post them in Ask the Professor, email them to me, post them to me in discussion, text me, or call me. I look forward to working with all of you in this course during this term. Thank you.